Alright guys, you asked for it. And what do? I put together a video for you. So today I'm talking about patchouli fragrances if you are on a budget. So we've got fragrances here as low as $20 and as high as $130. So I feel like $130 is stretching it, but I wanted to feature this one. It is from a designer's signature lineup of fragrances. All of these are patchouli focused, and I'm only including fragrances targeted to men or unisex. There are no feminine targeted fragrances here. Sorry ladies. I'll have to put together a separate one for the ladies, but I think I've done that already. Either way, if you're curious to learn about these 15 less expensive patchouli fragrances, then please stay tuned. Thanks so much for tuning in. This is Sebastian with Smelling Great Fragrance Reviews. Yes, I did the 25 patchouli fragrances video over the weekend, and I thought, you know what, after I put that video together, I thought, you know what, I should do a budget version. And I was thinking to myself, I'm like, are there really any budget fragrances that focus on patchouli? So I had to stop everything and just to, go through my collection to see what's there. There are some fragrances that are patchouli-esque focused, and there are the men's fragrances that are patchouli heavy, but there are all kinds of other notes, connected to it or added to the fragrance. So I've got those kind of fragrances here, plus I've got the actual patchouli focused fragrances as well. And I've got a total of 15 of them. And I'm going to tell you what they are all about and what their current prices are. I checked these just a few days ago. Once I run this video, it'll be from a few days ago during the Black Friday after Thanksgiving sales. So if you jump on it, you're probably going to be able to get deals on these fragrances. So I'll let you know what the fragrances are, but before I do, if this is your first time tuning into this channel and you still haven't subscribed, please click the subscribe button below and also click the bell so you'll be notified for future videos and giveaways. And I'm not ranking the list here. Just I'm giving you random fragrances, and I'm going to go ahead and start off with this one, which I did not feature over the weekend, and I feel like it's discontinued or currently out of stock. There are some stock out there somewhere, but this is from the house of TAUERVILLE. It's Patch Flash. I have a full review of it on the channel with Dahlia. You can check it out. Patch Flash is a patchouli heavy fragrance, but it's also got benzoin, spicy notes, and leather, and when you smell it, it is patchouli after all, but it is a gorgeous, really, really sexy, boozy patchouli. Wonderful stuff. I don't know what's going on with the TAUERVILLE collection. I think it just might be out of print right now because this is a really great fragrance. I don't think he would discontinue this one. The price is $63 for 30 ml, so when you factor in a 100 ml bottle, it is pricey, but it's definitely, if you want to, dabble in patchouli, you're on a budget, then it's $63, it's under 100, and it won't break your bank. You just will get less juice, but you know what? I feel like the TAUERVILLE fragrances are extra long lasting, so you should actually have a pretty good, you don't have to spray it as much as what I'm trying to say. So Patch Flash from TAUERVILLE is definitely one for you to try. Okay, so this next one, I'm going to an Italian house, and they do sell online. This is a fragrance that I discovered about 3 years ago, maybe 2 years ago. And it is one of those patchouli fragrances that is earthy, patchouli, woody, but it's easy to wear patchouli. And what's the great thing about this fragrance is that it leaves a great trail, but it's a lighter trail, and it's patchouli, and I talk about trails all the time with patchouli. Even though, your fragrance might dry down and completely be gone, you still have remnants of patchouli left on you, which will also still leave a trail. And that's the kind of fragrance this is, so it doesn't have a lot of depth to it. This is from a house called DFG 1924, and it's called Il Mercante di Sogni. So it's a difficult Italian name, but it's only 100 ml for 75 euros. So 100 ml 75 euros is a great price for niche fragrances, and it's a great patchouli, which focuses on cedarwood note, patchouli, amber, and musk. So it's not as overly complex, and as I said, it wears lighter, but that patchouli is very, very sexy. So this is DFG 1924. It's Il Mercante di Sogni. That's a great, great option. Okay, this next fragrance is from a house called Yves Rocher, and this is a fragrance I discovered last September. No, a year ago September, when I was in the south of France. I haven't taken a vacation this year. And I walked into an Yves Rocher boutique, in the south of France in Nice, and I've discovered a new collection, and this is one called Nouveau Genre. I have a video on the channel of this and 2 other fragrances in this collection, and basically 100 ml bottles. 3 bottles I bought for about 85 euros. They were some kind of a sale or promotion. I was shocked at how great the price was. So I was wearing this in the really, really humid weather down there. Oh my God, compliments galore. The women that were working in my hotel, they were complimenting as how great it smells. And I feel like it's kind of similar to this. It's not overly complex. The notes are patchouli, tonka, and some woody notes, but man, the compliments just kept coming in. I think the woman really liked the way patchouli smelled. So I think it's a great fragrance for someone that doesn't really know a lot about patchouli but wants to kind of get into it. Because currently I went to Yves Rocher website, USA website, and it's regular price is like $80 some, but it was on sale 50% off for $42.50. So 100 ml bottle, I highly recommend this one because the trail is fantastic. And I've spoken a lot about fragrance trails recently, and the patchouli trail is the most amazing. And I think this is going to be a great, great addition to anyone that's on a budget that wants to find a patchouli fragrance. So this is Yves Rocher Nouveau Genre, currently around $42.50. I hope it's like a sale that's going to continue throughout the holidays up until Christmas so that you can take advantage of it, because I know this brand does a lot of deals. That's how I ended up with 3 fragrances for 80 some euros. I was shocked at the price, but look for their promotions, subscribe to their newsletters, I guess, because paying $85 I think is a decent price for 100 ml, but if it's 50% off, it's freaking even better. So check that one out. It's a great house, Yves Rocher Nouveau Genre. I think it's going to be a great fragrance for you guys. So about 2 years ago, I did a video of 2 fragrances from this house called OLFACTORY NYC, and one of the fragrances in that collection that I reviewed, called Reed, focuses on patchouli. But get the price on this one. It's 50 ml for $50. So in the end, it turns out to be 100 ml for $100, but I think as an entry-level fragrance for someone on a budget who doesn't want too much fragrance, I think this is a great price. Reed is a great fragrance. It's kind of greenish smelling. It's got sage, that's why it's green. Obviously, there's a greenish touch to it also. And lots of rose, and also patchouli clearwood. So clearwood is I think it's a synthetic creation of, I'm not 100% sure, but I think it's a recreation of a smell that smells like patchouli. So it's patchouli. It's so good though. It leaves a great trail once again. And similar to this, I mean, although I feel like this is a better value, but if you're looking for something that's green with a little bit of rose and patchouli, very, very clean smelling, I think it's definitely one for you to try. I don't know if you guys know this house. Go catch my video on Reed and another fragrance from their collection I've done about 2 years ago, but I think a great, less expensive collection of fragrances that you can discover. I think you have to order directly from their website. OLFACTORY NYC Reed, a great fragrance focusing on patchouli. So we're going to jump to the most expensive fragrance in the collection. It's from the house of Maison Margiela. It's Music Festival. So I wanted to include this because it's, of course, a signature lineup of fragrances from Maison Margiela, but it's the most expensive. I know there might be some deals out there. I know Maison Margiela was having a buy one bottle, get a 30 ml bottle for free promotion during the holiday weekend, or Black Friday weekend, so they might still be having that deal. So in the end, you'll get a better price point, but it's 130. But this one features cannabis, patchouli, leather, tobacco, incense, some cypress notes, and apple with some sweetness in there. But you know what? It's a cannabis that's sort of smells like cannabis, so I think they've created an accord. It's not really the smell of cannabis, but I like that because it's cannabis with tobacco and patchouli, so it's almost like you're in Woodstocks, which the fragrance is inspired from. So if you're not on too much of a budget and you can afford this, I think go check it out right now. Maybe get a sample prior to it, but to see if you like it. But they were having that promotion, as I said. You get a 30 ml bottle of any of their fragrances, I think. I'm not 100% sure. So that's Music Festival for $130 from the house of Maison Margiela. So here we've got a very inexpensive fragrance. So this might be going back to the classics a bit. It definitely is, actually. This is from the house of ARAMIS. It's 900, this one right here. And the reason I'm including this one is this is definitely a more complex fragrance Doesn't focus on patchouli all by itself, but they've thrown in oak moss, rose, carnation, civet, coriander, geranium, vetiver, sandalwood. So it's an earthy, aromatic, woody floral fragrance for men. And I think the equivalent of this for the ladies is Aromatics Elixir. They're sort of similar, created by the same perfumer, launched around the same time. And of course, Aramis is under the Estee Lauder wing. But you know, I like this one. It's a great, great fragrance. It has a great sexy trail once again, but it's definitely classic. So if you don't like classic fragrances, this might not be one for you to try. But if you like patchouli, then you're gonna like something like this for sure. I have a feeling you will. So check it out, get a sample or something, but it's so inexpensive, 100 ml for 23 bucks. You don't even need to buy a sample to check it out, you know, to see how it is. Or if you can sample it at a store, I don't even know if they sell these in stores anymore, but 23 bucks for 100 ml is a great price. So that's Aramis 900. All right, so one of the fragrances I speak a lot about that is patchouli focused is a fragrance from the house called Reminiscence. It's a designer house that sells jewelry in France. But I think now the fragrances under this designer house is no longer connected to the jewelry brand. So the fragrances are the Reminiscence Paris, the jewelry house is Reminiscence Paris, and they're not connected. I don't know what happened, but something happened. But their fragrance Patchouli, currently, I just looked at online, 200 ml bottle, about $100. So I think there were less expensive deals for the 100 ml bottles, but 200 ml for 100 is a great price. This is Reminiscence Patchouli, probably the ultimate patchouli fragrance, and it's a great, great fragrance. Love the stuff, and I love the fact that it's patchouli with chocolate cakey touches. But why are we getting that? It's like the earthy patchouli with labdanum, vanilla, tolu balsam, tonka beans, and sandalwood. So the tolu, labdanum, vanilla, all give it like an ambery touch. So when they're connecting it with the patchouli, that earthy, woody patchouli, it's creating this like a very chocolate cakey touch, which I'm obsessed with. Very, very, very sexy fragrance. I love this one. It is really, really great. But a 200 ml bottle for 100 is great. If you don't want that much perfume, obviously, you can buy a 100 ml decant 50 or 100 of it for somebody. You could split the price or something. But currently, that's what I saw the price for, and I think it's a great price online. So 200 ml bottle of Reminiscence Patchouli, 100 bucks. I think it's a great deal. The next one is even cheaper. ZINO Davidoff by Davidoff. 20 bucks for a 120 ml bottle. So this one, again, it's not one of those just patchouli fragrances. It's patchouli with a complex connection of notes. There's lots of patchouli here, obviously. It's a patchouli fragrance with lots of sandalwood, rosewood, lavender, rose, vanilla, clary sage. So this one, it has some animalic touches. I feel like there's maybe castoreum or civet thrown in, but definitely the patchouli is very, very standout. So again, once again, if you like patchouli, you might be into this kind of fragrance. If you don't, and you don't like classic fragrances, this might not be one for you to try. This came out in the 80s, late 80s. I really love it. I recently rediscovered it because I found a deal, and it's the same price I found it for. I bought it for about $18, $19. It's currently just run that price. I put 20, but a great fragrance for. It's very, very classy and masculine. And some of these male-targeted fragrances might be too masculine for women, but there are some women out there that don't mind fragrances like this and they would wear it. But I feel like it just definitely leans on the masculine side. But a great scent. It still smells pretty darn good too. So ZINO Davidoff, 120 ml bottle for 20 bucks currently. So going to another fragrance house that's a little on the pricier side, but this one's not as pricey as the MAISON Margiela Music Festival, but this is a 50 ml bottle for 110. So it's definitely under 130, but still it's it's a 50 ml bottle. This is Patchouli Rosso for $110 from the house of I Profumi di Firenze. And this one I featured in the video over the weekend, and I did say this one's the coldest, starkest type of patchouli. It's a very, very cold patchouli. When I'm comparing it to something like this, this has lots of warmth to it. You know why it has all the warmth to it? The labdanum, vanilla, tolu, tonka, all are very warm notes. This doesn't have much like that. This is mostly patchouli with cedar, spicy notes, and some myrrh thrown in. But it is just a very, very cold and very, very woody, earthy patchouli experience. Some people like things like that. Some people don't. You just have to, you know, get a sample and test it out and things like that. I do have a full review of this one. I have a full review of this one. So you can definitely go check out all these fragrances that I'm speaking about today here on the channel, and you can find out more about them in more detail, and then go, you know, get samples or buy a fragrance. But either way, if you like your fragrances not too warm, again, not featuring a lot of warm notes, even though myrrh is a warm note. It has some sweet vanillic touches, but it's not like a benzoin where it just goes ultra vanillic. Anyway, Patchouli Rosso from the house of I Profumi di Firenze is a great patchouli that's very, very cold. So I decided to do this list randomly, and I'm just mixing them all up because, you know, I wanted a variety all coming up, and I didn't want to like section it off into groups and things like that. So I'm giving you some of the male options and of course the unisex options. This next fragrance is a male targeted fragrance. The previous one was a unisex targeted, and I'm talking about Givenchy Gentleman, the original. Very, very patchouli heavy and very animalic and musky too. So lots of patchouli, lots of leather, honey, civet, cinnamon, rose, oak moss, vetiver, musk. Very, very sexy fragrance. It smells great to me today. I think it came out around the same time as this one. Both of them are from 1973. But man, it's very, very sexy. It's just a very, very classy, masculine fragrance. I really love it. And I think it still smells pretty darn good today. It's not like 100% great as it once did, but I think it's still a popular seller. And really, really heavy on the patchouli too. If you like patchouli masculine fragrances, patchouli focused, but not patchouli focused, if that makes sense, because the leather is pretty prominent, the civet is pretty prominent, honey and cinnamon are also pretty prominent, then you should definitely check this one out. Currently this one's selling for about $40 for 100 ml, so it's a good price. And once again, if you like patchouli, you might dig something like this. If you don't, stay away or get a sample first before jumping into this, because if you're more used to the current fragrances that are sold at Macy's and department stores, this is going to smell kind of very, very mature to you. So that's a Givenchy Gentleman. Next up, this one I featured over the weekend, Nino Amaddeo's Patchouli by Nino, and I thought it was more expensive than 130 euros, I thought, but I looked it up again. It's actually 100 ml for 95 euros, so it turns out to be about $115 for this one. And this one actually is very close to this one. Not identical, but again, the guy that created this brand used to be part of Reminiscence, and I think what happened was when Reminiscence separated from their jewelry brand, I think that this guy must have left and started his own brand. But this is a great patchouli. I recently did a video on this one and a few other fragrances, and we did have a winner from Norway who chose this bottle right here. So if you like the idea of patchouli, cacao, vanilla, amber, myrrh, saffron, and leather, warm patchouli, this is definitely a warm patchouli. This one's not. This one doesn't have a lot of warm notes, if at all. This one has lots of warm notes. So those are the kinds that I really, really dig, because it's kind of going into the gourmand direction, and this one definitely does. Anyway, 100 ml, 95 euros. I think you can order from their website directly, but get a sample if you can. And either way, Nino Amadeo Patchouli by Nino is awesome. Two fragrances from the house of MOLINARD I'm featuring. So the first one is MOLINARD's Patchouli, this one right here. So MOLINARD's Patchouli currently is selling for about $68 online. They're all 75 ml bottles, and this one is a very aromatic patchouli. Even though it's got warm notes, it's also got these dry and herbal aromatic touches. Lots of geranium in this one with a sandalwood touch, musk, vanilla, neroli, and orange blossom. I'm sorry, neroli and orange. It does have a very kind of aromatic and orangey neroli-esque kind of a smell for a patchouli. So even though it's earthy aromatic, it's got that orangey touch as well. So it's a little different than your typical patchouli fragrances, even though it's still similar to other patchouli fragrances, if that makes sense. So it's a great fragrance. They also have an intense, which I did not feature here because it's over the regular price that I'm highlighting today. But this is a great entry-level patchouli for someone that's on a budget. So as I said, 75 ml for 68 bucks. Pretty darn good price, I think. And the next MOLINARD fragrance is MOLINARD's Vanille Patchouli. So if you like the idea of patchouli but you want a lot of sweetness, and you like the idea of vanilla, this one definitely will satisfy. This one's a little more vanilla than patchouli. I feel like whenever they put the name of notes in a fragrance name, the very first note is the more dominant note, if that makes sense. So you get more vanilla in this than patchouli. That's why it's called Vanille Patchouli. So this one has lots of vanilla, patchouli, benzoin, musk, sandalwood. So basically take their patchouli fragrance, which I discussed with you just a little while ago, and then take their vanilla fragrance and put them together, you end up with vanilla Vanille Patchouli. So to me, it smells like just those two notes fragrances as a fragrance together. So you're getting kind of like a best of both worlds. A little more vanilla than patchouli, but a great combination. And this one currently I saw online, 75 ml for 45 bucks, which I thought was a great price. really great price for a 75 ml, and this is definitely you know, a very warm one, perfect for fall and winter. So that's Vanille Patchouli from the house of MOLINARD, and we're going to end the video with two masculine fragrances. First one being GUERLAIN Heritage, and I'm putting this one here because in the end it's sandalwood, patchouli, and lavender. Those are the standout notes, and I feel like this one also has a very, very sexy trail, and I think it's just because of the combination of sandalwood, patchouli, and lavender. I think you get lots of those three notes. It's just a standout. And then along with those notes, it's coriander, juniper, geranium, amber, oak moss. So almost like a barbershop woody fragrance. Classy masculine fragrance. I just think it's a very, very classy masculine fragrance, and the trail is fantastically sexy. So I love highlighting this fragrance. It's become one of my favorite Guerlain fragrances. I absolutely adore this one, and out of everything that's out there by Guerlain for masculine, as a masculine fragrance, this one totally is the best one for me. I always go for the eau de toilette also in comparison to the eau de parfum. We compared it in a video, and it always turned out that the eau de toilette was the better, more projecting version of the two fragrances. That's why I adore the eau de toilette. I just hope it's not discontinued. I feel like there's not a lot of discounts online recently, and prior to the pandemic I was seeing tons of discounts. So maybe it's due to the pandemic, but I hope it doesn't get the discontinuation of this one, for this one, because I really, really do love this one, and I love the fact that it's the greatest combination of sandalwood, patchouli, and lavender together. Anyway, Guerlain Heritage. What a wonderful fragrance. And the last fragrance I'm going to talk to you about today is Mugler's Amen. So Mugler's Amen, even though it's patchouli, it's still coffee. Even though it's patchouli, it's got lots of honey. Even though it's patchouli, it's got lavender, vanilla, mint, tonka beans, and milk. So it's a, you know, just, it's a patchouli-esque fragrance, but it's not like the main star, even though it's pretty, you know, pretty freaking dominant as a note in this fragrance. You get lots of coffee with this one, you get lots of honey with this one, and you get lots of lavender, vanilla. All of those notes do come in, but it's perfectly blended with the patchouli note. This is probably my, not really my first patchouli fragrance, but, you know, this really kind of like started my journey into appreciating patchouli-esque kind of fragrances, even when I didn't really know a lot about patchouli fragrances, you know what I mean? This was in the late 90s. Sadly though, it's not really what it used to be. It's not as intense as it once was, but if you want like a designer fragrance that does have a little bit of patchouli in it, that, you know, features it and doesn't really make the patchouli the star, but, you know, kind of you can pick it out and things like that, and definitely one for you to try. I used to love this one, and it lasted for days. Now it doesn't last for days, unfortunately, but it's a great, great, you know, it brings back lots of great memories is what I was going to say with this one. So that's Mugler's Amen, and that's the last fragrance of less expensive patchouli fragrances, and I did want to mention the price of that one. 100 ml for $45 is currently what I saw online. If I forgot to mention prices for anything, I'm going to include it in the info box. Just realize that those prices are about 2 days ago when I did my, you know, research online before I put this video together. Anyway guys, let me know what you think about these fragrances. Do you have any of them? Do you like them? Do you even like patchouli? I know a lot of you were asking for a budget list. I received a few emails and some comments, and of course some messages through Instagram as well. So that's why I felt like I should do this video. And I'll be done with patchouli for a while. But last but not least, I don't want to end this video until I tell you about my Patchho t-shirt, because I know we're all Patchhos when we love patchouli. It's currently 20% off. You use the code Patchho and you can get a 20% discount on either this Patchho t-shirt, as you can see right here, or any of my merchandise that you see on the channel. I have t-shirts, hoodies, tank tops, masks, mugs, all of that stuff. Pretty soon there's going to be some baseball hats that are going to come as well. As I said, the discount code is Patchho, P-A-T-C-H-H-O. They'll save you 20% off of any of the merchandise that's in the store. So hopefully you guys will take advantage and get yourself a t-shirt that says Patchho on it. Anyway guys, thanks so much for watching today. If you have any questions or comments, please list below. Otherwise, please like this video, please share it, follow me on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram, and I'll be back with more videos very soon. Have a good one. Goodbye.